All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on down in our nation's capital.
Sure.
Of course, the President of the United States has launched a charm offensive against his own party because he needs as many Republicans as possible to vote for this replacement for Obamacare. Last night, he apparently hosted a bunch of congressional folks at the bowling alley, so a charm offensive in bowling shoes. Geraldo, he's got a problem because there are a number of Republicans who say, look, this thing that we've worked so hard for so long to repeal, the new bill, not so good.
I have total sympathy for the president and for the Paul Ryan establishment group of the Republicans. I think the only way you get any improvement or amendment to Obamacare is with compromise. I think the Freedom Caucus is way out of line. They are opposed to any kind of socialized medicine. I mean, look at what is insurance?
Well,
what
this
is
isn't socialized medicine.
Why? I mean, socialized medicine is when anybody gets more services than they pay for, basically. What is medical insurance? Medical insurance is like going to the casino. You make a bet when you buy medical insurance. I bet you that my premiums are less than the care that I'm going to receive. Mm-hmm. That's the bet you make. Mm-hmm. But with Obamacare, young, healthy people were forced to buy insurance. Why?
Everybody was forced to buy.
Pay for people with pre-existing conditions. That's not insurance.
Pay for the sick people.
If you have the sick people, if you have a cancer, for example, and you get insurance because it's mandated that you get insurance, that's not insurance. That's an entitlement. So the question becomes, how do you pay for it?
Were you watching Paul Ryan yesterday because he did a PowerPoint and he was excellent and he talked about the risk pools and how just the way you explained it, where the healthy people were paying for the sick people. In the Paul Ryan plan, they take these real sick people out of everything else, and then the federal government subsidizes those people, and that brings down the premiums.
And Rand Paul does not like it at all. He's the group that you're talking about. They're complaining about everything. He says it's not good for you, the American. He talked about it last night on Tucker Carlson's show. Listen.
But the problem is they've brought forward things that are very controversial and that conservatives don't like. Conservatives hate their bill. I promise you, Obamacare Light, dead on arrival. They might as well just start over. The speaker needs to, bring people into the room, conservatives, and needs to hear what we want. We are withholding our vote. This is a message for the speaker. We are withholding our vote. We want a seat at the table. You won't meet anybody who dislikes Obamacare more than me. I'm a physician. I have lived Obamacare. It is a disaster. I have voted to repeal it, and I will vote again. But I will not vote for Obamacare Light stuck on the repeal bill.
Says he speaks from experience.
My big problem, remember the Peter, Paul, and Mary? You were like 20 years old. If religion was a thing that money could buy, the rich would live, the poor would die. What you can't have is a medical system where the rich will live and the poor will die. That's where we have compassion. Donald Trump, the President of the United States...
We have this thing, but you know we have Medicaid.
But we should have Medicaid for everybody. We should have Medicaid for everybody.
Well, that's single-payer health care. That's what the Democrats want.
That's what I want.
But that's not what conservatives or Republicans have ever wanted, because we believe in something called the free market and incentives and competition. So in replacing Obamacare, you understand the frustration of conservatives who said, we've repealed Obamacare time and time again over Obama's term. Now we get a chance to do it, and some key things like going across state lines and others aren't in there yet, even though they may get in there.
The crossing state lines, I'm totally for. It's a wonderful idea. But even as you express very articulately the conservative position, you have to know, picture those town hall meetings. Picture the Republican who goes back to his district. How did he get elected? And how did Donald Trump win his district? With working people from 50 years old to 65 years old.
Whose premiums are crushing them now under Obamacare.
But now you're telling them, you know, that benefit that you got under Obamacare, you no longer will get that benefit. We'll give you a tax credit. What if I only make $25,000? What good does a tax credit do me when I don't even pay income tax?
No one's going to be happy with it 100%. Things have got to change, because the way it was going, they're losing so much money, it's failing.
I totally agree, Ainsley, and that's why the President and Paul Ryan have the only chance of compromising and making something in the middle between Obamacare and Rand Paul's kind of, Ayn Rand, you take care, everybody takes care of themselves except for the real poor and the real
Well, we also are distorting
a
sixth of our economy. That's not what he's not saying kick them out of the street and good luck.
I just think that if the Republicans can't get their act together, now that they have the White House and both houses of the United States Congress, if they can't compromise among themselves, how can they expect the Democrats to help them? They didn't help the Democrats.
Well, they're never going
What
to.
you will have, I predict it right now, if Rand Paul is right, and this is dead on arrival, Obamacare light, then you'll have nothing. You will have Obamacare or nothing. That's the alternative. I think that's what the president has recognized. He is striving for some kind of compromise. Absent that compromise, these Freedom Caucus guys, you know, they're from very safe districts, a lot of them. They don't care. They, you know,
a trip to the White House for pizza is not going to sway their vote.
Or the bowling alley in the Harry Truman alley. That's not going to help either.
I know. All right, let's talk a little bit about this. We were talking about it when Geraldo walked in. Samantha Bee's television show over on TBS had...
Turner Broadcasting.
There she is right there. They had this thing on CPAC. And, of course, they're going to make fun of conservatives and young men and whatnot. And they ran this clip, and watch how they fixate on certain members of CPAC's hair.
This venerable conference has long celebrated traditional small government conservatism. Just last year, CPAC was dominated by Ted Cruz supporters. CPAC! And chirpy little with bow ties. This year, the bow ties were gone, replaced by Nazi hair. Nazi hair, Nazi hair.
Well, that young man, screen left right there, is actually that man right there. He's got stage 4 brain cancer. It is fatal. It is very aggressive. His name is Kyle Coddington. He's actually a member of the press. He was joining us earlier on Fox and Friends talking about Samantha Bee making fun of his hair.
It is kind of a half apology. I would say the effects of this go much further than just insulting me and the illness itself. It's just inconsiderate and very unprofessional to, you know, lump together anyone with a certain hairstyle or just the way they look. Like I said, it's unprofessional, it's inconsiderate, and it goes beyond me.
He has that kind of hair because his hair's been falling out, so he has shaved it tightly. She did apologize for offending him.
And gave $1,000.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I feel sorry for the kid, and, you know, when you make those kinds of cutting jokes...
Nazi. Why do they go to Nazi?
First of all, Nazi, you only do Nazi when someone is committing genocide. It's not a joke at all, and I really, really think that comedians and politicians, everybody has to refrain from any kind of Nazi analogy, unless you're talking about ISIS wiping out a race of people.
But a lot of people on the left use Nazi all the time.
I'm glad, and I hate it. I really hate it. It really is so intellectually lazy. It's such an easy thing to do. I want to screw somebody. Nazi. Just forget about it. She's apologized. I'm glad she's apologized.
Here's the great...
Best wishes to the kids.
Listen to this, Geraldo. His goal was $2,500 when he set up the GoFundMe page to pay for his medical bills. We had him on the show, and now he has raised more than $45,000. One of our viewers gave $10,000. There's a live look at how much
it was at like 15,000, I think, when we did this segment just an hour ago.
We have the best audience in television.
We do.
Really.
Somebody watching the...
Loyal, wonderful, compassionate, generous. We love you.
Well, and that guy, you know, he's going to have his next chemotherapy treatment in a couple of weeks.
You say the prognosis is grim?
It is fatal.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I mean,
he's a young man.
But
he's got a good attitude.
But there he is out at CPAC covering it as a journalist. You know, I mean, he's an inspiring story of someone who's still got his head
I know.
up.
One of my best friends is a brain surgeon here and saved one of my best friend's lives. And I reached out to him. I said, can I have him call you? He's so nice. He said, yeah, give him my cell phone number. I've got some advice for him.
If you would like to help young Kyle Coddington as he faces stage 4 brain cancer, go to our website, foxandfriends.com, and we will link to his GoFundMe page.
Yeah.